ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first and hopefully the worst episode of Chatterboxing. Kind of sounds like shadowboxing. I'm your host, Abdullah. I say hopefully the worst, the first, hopefully the worst episode because, quite frankly, it's my first time recording anything professionally, so to speak. Just stick with me. I promise in the future it will be a little more aesthetically pleasing setup. Anyways, we're here to discuss the phenomenal Riyadh season card, the Last Crescendo, headlined by Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol 2, the rematch. As it is a Riyadh season show, I am in my Riyadh season attire, inspired by His Excellency Turki al-Sheikh, the king of boxing. So anytime we do a Riyadh season show, I'm going to be dressed in Arabic clothing, a dishdasha and a shmagh. Anyways, let's get straight on to the boxing. We have a lot to cover, starting off with probably the fight of the night. Man, honestly, we're spoiled. We're spoiled and we're blessed. What a time to be alive if you're a boxing fan, because they're making the big fights. This undercard was stacked, man. It was stacked. It was ridiculously stacked. So much so that the first fight of the night might have been the best fight of the night. Despite all the cancellations, Dubois pulling out, Schofield pulling out, both of them due to illness, this was still a phenomenal card. We'll start off with Josh Buatsi versus Callum Smith. Josh Buatsi, undefeated, undefeated up-and-coming Ghanaian British boxer, Olympic bronze medalist. He was undefeated coming into the fight. He was many people's favorites coming into the fight versus Callum Smith. Callum Smith, very impressive boxing record. He's only lost to two of the very best future Hall of Famers in Canelo Alvarez and Artur Beterbiev. Now, going into this fight, there were some people saying, oh, this should be Callum Smith's last fight. Oh, does he still have it? Even Callum Smith alluded to it in his post-fight comments. People were saying he was damaged goods. Man, he showed nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, Callum Smith looked phenomenal in there. He looked phenomenal in there. Both guys put on a very good show. I think Callum Smith edged it by couple rounds, let's say 2 rounds. What impressed me the most about Callum Smith, they usually say in boxing, if you're the shorter guy, if you're the shorter boxer with the shorter reach, you should try and stick to the bigger guy, stick to the taller guy. If you stick to him, you take away his weapons. You take away that long reach, those long arms. If you stick to him, you take a little bit of power off the shots because you're so close. And that's Buatsi tried to do that. He stuck to Callum Smith. The problem was, whenever he got close, Callum Smith was letting him know, bro, you're close, you're too close. And he was hitting him. He was hitting Josh Buatsi every time. Anytime Buatsi got close, Callum Smith was hitting him with 2s, 3s, and 4s. It wasn't just the one or the 2, 2, 3s, and 4 combinations. It was a very impressive performance. You could hear the punches from both guys all around the arena. I was fortunate enough to be there. I'm blessed. I don't live too far away from Riyadh. Happy times for me. And you could hear those shots ringing around the arena from both guys. Josh Buatsi was also quite good, very good on offense. I just feel he was a little bit too casual defensively, a little bit too nonchalant defensively. He was taking punches that he didn't really need to take. And it just adds up, man. It adds up on the scorecards. Callum Smith was a deserved winner. Congrats to him. It's his second fight in Saudi, I believe. I was actually in Jeddah on the AJ Usyk 2 card, or the Usyk AJ 2 card. And Callum Smith scored a ferocious knockout against a French boxer. His name eludes me at the moment. Apologies for that. But Callum Smith delivered a devastating knockout in Jeddah, and he delivered a formidable performance in Riyadh. Very well deserved. It's definitely not time for him to quit. He's definitely got at least a handful of fights left in him. Who would you like to see him fight next? He's already fought Beterbiev. I think Bivol is going to be tied up either in the Beterbiev or in the Benavidez fight. I'd like to see Callum Smith maybe against David Morrell, although that's a bit unfair for Morrell. He's only had 14, 15 fights. He had Benavidez. To put him straight away against Callum Smith again might be unfair on him, but I'd like to see that. I'd also like to see a huge domestic fight, Callum Smith against the winner of Yard and Lyndon Arthur. I like both guys. I reckon, I don't know, maybe Anthony Yard is my favorite to win there. If he does win, I'd like to see Callum Smith against Yard, Big domestic fight. That'll do good numbers in the UK. I think the publicity of that will be good. But anyways, great fight. Moving on, we had Big Bang Zhang against Agit Kabayel. Zhang, we all know, Chinese power, southpaw, very heavy-handed. He derailed the career of Joe Joyce. He almost retired Deontay Wilder, delivering a ferocious knockout on Wilder in Riyadh. Against Kabayel. Kabayel, a little bit unknown outside the hardcore circles. Outside the hardcore circles. The casuals don't know him that well. The hardcores know him. We'd have heard his sparring, long-time AJ sparring partner. We've seen him before in a few Riyadh cards. What's nice about Kabayel, he's got the power, he's got the movement, he's got the gas tank, he's got the work ethic and the output. He lets his hands go, he stays busy, he's moving around. And if I was to fight Zhang, which hopefully would never happen because Zhang is a very strong, good boxer. But if I was to fight Zhang, my game plan would be, we've seen Zhang in the past, whether it's against Hrgovic, whether it's against Joseph Parker, the second half of the fight kind of runs out of gas. The stamina kind of lets him down a bit. So if I was Kabayel, I would target the body early on. I would try and take the fight into the later rounds. And I would hope that Zhang gasses out and I could just pick him off. And we saw Kabayel right from the beginning targeting the body. I think as the end of round 1 or round 2, Zhang's body, the side was all marked up, was all red. And then eventually Kabayel, got a stoppage against Zhang, KO to the body after some impressive work, some good movement. I think the future is bright for Kabayel. I think it's a stacked heavyweight division. I think it's time to throw his name up there with some of the big boys. As for Zhang, I love Zhang. He's got a lot of charisma, a lot of personality. The fans love him. Although his English is limited, that charisma shines through. Shout outs to his coach as well, Sean George, based out of New Jersey, a gentleman. I've spoken to him a couple of times. He's a man that always has time for you as a fan. Very good guy. I don't want to see the end of Zhang. I don't want this to be the end of Zhang. He's got that power, that hand speed. He's a southpaw. I don't want to be disrespectful to Zhang, but maybe I could see him as like a gatekeeper, for the up-and-coming heavyweights, just below the elites, just below the top 4, top 5. You could have Zhang as the gatekeeper there for a couple of fights before he retires. That was a good performance by Kabayel. Next up, we had Virgil Ortiz against Israel Madrimov. I had picked Madrimov to win. No offense to Ortiz, just because Madrimov was so impressive against Terence Crawford. Okay, Crawford was moving up a weight class, but that was a very close fight. I actually had Madrimov maybe edging it by 1 round. You could have had it 1 round, 2 rounds, either way. Some people would have had it a draw. They gave the victory to Crawford. No big complaints. I thought maybe Madrimov edged it out as well. My boxing coaches are from Uzbekistan, so they've been talking to me about Madrimov for years. And Uzbekistan is a boxing factory of a nation. It's a boxing nation. Literally, all the guys there box. So if there's someone out there that they're so high on, then you need to pay attention. And I was expecting Madrimov to do the business. We know his fighting style. He likes to move around. He likes to stay elusive. And that's what he was doing at the beginning, first couple rounds. But credit to Virgil Ortiz, man. Credit to Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz was lasered in. He was sticking to his game plan. He wasn't getting impatient. He wasn't putting himself in compromising positions. He was cutting the ring off slowly, taking away that distance slowly, kept the high guard. When he got near Madrimov, he was letting his hands go. And I think he was a deserved winner. Virgil Ortiz was a deserved winner. I think there was a scorecard 118, 112. I think that's way too wide. I would have had Ortiz winning by 2 rounds. But worthy winner. As for Madrimov, they were saying, he wasn't 100%. He wasn't feeling 100%. He was supposed to be in the Usyk Fury 2 card in Riyadh in December, but he pulled out because of bronchitis. Some people in his camp were saying he was still feeling the effects of that. He wasn't quite 100%. I'd like to see him come back. I think he won the belt, if I'm not mistaken, against Magomed Kurbanov from Russia, and then straight away he had to defend against Crawford. And the scorecards were maybe a bit harsh. So, I think he deserves another crack, especially if he wasn't 100% fit for this fight. Does Ortiz rematch him or move on? I think Ortiz probably moves on. But I think it would be unfair to just close the door on Madrimov at this point. I'd like to see more of him. I'm a big fan of that elusive movement, footwork kind of style. So I'd like to see more of him. Up next, there was Carlos Adames versus Hamza Sheeraz, a very controversial result to the fight. It ended in a draw. Listen, I'll be honest. I am a very biased scorer. I try my best, but Hamza Sheeraz is my guy, one of my favorite fighters, fellow Arsenal fan. So I was scoring it live. My biased scorecard had it a draw. I had it 114-114. I know I'm a bit biased. If I was to score that fully objectively, probably I'd have had Adames winning by 1 or 2 rounds, probably. But that being said, credits to Adames. What I liked about Adames, I think his head movement and his defense was very sharp. I think Buatsi needs to go into camp with Carlos Adames because his defense was very good. He was slipping, rolling, rotating those shoulders, evading Hamza's punches quite well. I think he could do a better job cutting off the ring, cutting off the distance. He needs to improve in that. But overall, I was impressed by his defense. Hamza Sheeraz, okay, we heard later on, he didn't try to make a big deal out of it, but we did hear that his hand was broken early on in the fight. Then he posted that picture with his fist. One fist was looking very swollen compared to the other. So there was that. Another thing I think is the weight. You know, we've been hearing for a while that maybe Hamza Sheeraz struggles to make the weight to make the weight, the middleweight. Sorry. And one of my friends, Anthony, shout outs to Anthony, he was at the weigh-in and he texted me and he was like, listen, man, like Hamza Sheeraz can barely walk. Like he's struggling with the weight cut. And I'd have to agree. If you see him on fight nights, you know, usually boxers after they cut weight, they fill up. And Hamza Sheeraz did not look like he filled up, man, especially from the back. He was looking a bit drained. I thought his performance was a bit drained. As well, the broken hand. I'm not trying to make excuses. I know he wouldn't want to make too many excuses, but I don't think it was a 100% Hamza Sheeraz out there. And look, they've moved him fast. He's quite popular. He's quite good, quite sharp. He's got that KO power. I'm kind of glad he didn't take the Janibek fight that was offered to him. It would have been, I think, too fast, man. Too fast for him. Janibek is a phenomenal boxer. We saw against Adames, Hamza didn't have the best night. There may have been reasons behind that. But where to next? If he had won, I'd have liked to maybe see him defend his belt one more time, then move up. But now, I don't know. I think he should just move up, to be honest. Maybe move up super middleweight, 168 pounds. Diego Pacheco's there, undefeated. I think maybe a bit too soon to put him against Diego Pacheco. But you've got Jaime Munguia in there. You've got Edgar Berlanga in there. I'd like to see him. I think he beats both of them. I'm not sure the Edgar Berlanga fight happens. Edgar Berlanga's, you know, he gets to pick his opponents. He's demanding a lot of money. I mean, Turki Al-Sheikh can make it happen, that's for sure. But maybe move up, fight Munguia, and then have another shot at a world title for Hamza Sheeraz. Commiserations to Carlos Adames. For being honest, I think he did just win that fight. Unlucky not to get it. After that, we had Shakur Stevenson against Josh Padley, the late replacement. Josh Padley, man. Josh Padley, take a bow, son. Take a bow. That was a very good performance on 4 days' notice. You know, there you go. Staying match fit, staying sharp, staying fight ready. People always say you need to stay ready. You never know when you're going to get that opportunity. He was an electrician. He went to work and then got a call 4 days later. We need you in Riyadh. Are you ready against Shakur Stevenson? Can you make the weight? Yes, he is. Bam. Life-changing money. We heard Turki Al-Sheikh paid him well, promised him another fight. He's already quit his electrician job, if I'm not mistaken. He can focus on boxing full-time. What a story. Very good performance. Like I said, man, it's a message to young boxers, any young athlete out there. Stay ready. Stay ready. You never know when something can happen, freak, luck, accident, something can happen and you can be called in and you can have a life-changing moment. And Josh Padley did. Shakur Stevenson was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. We already know Shakur Stevenson's one of the elite level boxers. People were saying, oh, he's a bit boring, blah, blah, blah. This fight wasn't boring. This fight was very good, very technically sound. Shakur Stevenson looking sharp, super fast hands, targeting the body. I think maybe a round or two before it ended, the writing was kind of on the wall. You saw him go to the body, knock down Padley a few times. In the end, they stopped the fight. The corner stopped the fight, rightfully so. He lived to fight another day. Excellent performance on a few days' notice. Shakur Stevenson, man, we need to see that Tank fight. I think we need to see that Tank fight. I think styles make fights. I think that'll be an excellent fight. You've got the technical, disciplined boxer in Shakur. You've got the more aggressive knockout boxer in Tank Davis. We need to see it happen. They've got huge fan bases. There'll be a lot of hype around that fight. Let's see it happen. Moving on to Joseph Parker against Martin Bakole, another late replacement. Daniel Dubois, they were saying he felt unwell. Doctors ruled him out of the fight. When I first heard the news, I thought maybe it would have been food poisoning, because in the public workout the night before, he seemed okay. He seemed okay in the interviews. He seemed fine. He was talking fine. Obviously, a lot can change overnight. You can sleep and wake up the next day and not feel too well. I don't have any doubts. You know, the doctors did rule him out. I'm sure he was ready. I'm sure he'd be gutted to miss out on this opportunity. But very good performance by Joseph Parker. This guy has revolutionized or reinvigorated his career under Andy Lee. He's in a great run of form. You saw what he did to Deontay Wilder. Man, he's looking very, very good. He's looking very good. He got rid of Bakole quite quickly. Of course, Bakole, you know, he just came from Congo, man. You know, you could tell he was not in fighting shape. He was a bit overweight. You could tell, man. I think he got to Riyadh like 22 hours before the fight. Like, he got to Riyadh at 2 a.m., 1 a.m. He had to fly from Congo to Ethiopia to Riyadh, took a couple of transit flights. Man, like, he landed around midnight or 1 a.m. And then they were asking the man to do bloody TV interviews and like media obligations. Man, poor guy. Like, he's fighting less than 18 hours. He just arrived. Like, you know, I understand there's media obligations. He seemed to enjoy himself. I'm happy for him. Turki Al-Sheikh promised him another big fight. We're going to see him against Efe Ajagba in May. No surprises there, really. He was unfit, but take nothing away from Joseph Parker. That was a sharp overhand right, clipped Bakole at the top. Bakole went down. That was a spectacle. Credits to the referee for getting out of the way, because, man, that would have hurt had Bakole landed on him. One thing I will say to Bakole, I think in the first round, Parker hit him with a clean hook, clean in the chin, and Bakole just like shook it off. That was kind of impressive. You know, he's got lots of charisma too. So hopefully we see him again. As for Joseph Parker, man, I'm hearing rumors that Usyk is going to take the Dubois rematch, which, you know, I'm not totally against. I believe Dubois caught him with a legal body shot in the first fight. I don't think it was too low. But I also feel it's unfair if you just skip Parker. Like, he was supposed to have the eliminator with Dubois, and then he won against the replacement. He's been on good form as well. I think it's a bit unfair to just, you know, skip Parker and just give Dubois the rematch. But if they do that, I won't be totally against it. But Parker does deserve a shot soon. Parker does deserve a shot soon. Best of luck to him. By all accounts, I've heard great things about him as a person. Moving on to the main event, Artur Beterbiev versus Dimitri Bivol 2, the rematch. Man, this was some elite level fighting. Both fights were absolutely elite level. Actually, what's crazy, I don't know if you guys saw, but they're saying the scorecards were exactly identical for the two fights, just the other way around. They were scored exactly identically, and I think this is the thing with these fights. You could have given it either way. Both fights, 1 round Bivol, 1 round to Beterbiev, a draw in both scenarios. Personally, I had Bivol edging the first fight by 1 round, and I had Bivol edging the second fight by 2 rounds. I think he was a worthy winner. Take nothing away from Beterbiev. Why do I say Bivol was the worthy winner in both fights? Prior to this, Beterbiev had 20 fights, 20 KOs, 100% KO ratio. And Beterbiev did 24 rounds with Dimitri Bivol. And at no point in those 24 rounds did he seriously rock Bivol. At no point did you see Bivol stumbling, about to go down, rocked really heavily. In the second fight, he really didn't get rocked at all. I think in the first fight, Beterbiev landed 1 or 2 or 3 clean punches that kind of hurt Bivol, but we didn't see him anywhere near a knockdown, anywhere near a KO. Over 24 rounds against an elite future Hall of Famer who had a 100% KO ratio. think if you can neutralize Beterbiev like that over 24 rounds, I think you're a worthy winner. Definitely a worthy winner. Credit to both guys. Where do you guys think? Where do you think they should go next? Would you like to see the trilogy? I mean, I would like to see the trilogy. I wouldn't be averse to the trilogy. I wouldn't be totally against it. I think Beterbiev doesn't get him in the third fight. I just think we see more of the same. I don't think he KOs Bivol in the third fight. Raf, Elusive 2.0 on YouTube and Instagram, shouts to Raf. He pointed out that Beterbiev had knee surgery before the first fight, but he didn't have knee braces. In this fight, he had knee braces on both knees. So, Father Time is undefeated. Beterbiev is 39 or 40 years old. I don't know if he takes the trilogy. Does he win? I'm not sure. Would I like to see it again? Sure, I'd love to see it again. Elite level boxing. Both guys deserve another big payday. Why not? That being said, also Benavidez deserves a chance. David Benavidez is out there. He was waiting for Canelo. We all know Canelo wasn't going to take that fight. Do you make him wait even more now? Do you make him wait for a trilogy? Both guys, Bivol and Beterbiev, said they need a rest, which I totally understand, totally agree. They had 2 rigorous training camps. Bivol's been very active the last couple of years. So he needs a little bit of a rest. Then after that, I would prefer him to fight Benavidez, just because I think Benavidez deserves a chance, and I'd like to see Bivol versus Benavidez. That being said, if they have a trilogy, Bivol, Beterbiev, I wouldn't be against it. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what was your favorite fight on the undercard. Let me know, have you been to Riyadh for a fight? Would you like to go? Are you against it? I think you should definitely go. I see a lot of friends from the UK are out there. They go out there. I meet a lot of them. Everyone has a blast. Everyone has a good time. Lovely people, very hospitable. Arena's nice. Sound system is nice. Atmosphere is starting to pick up. So yeah, share your thoughts below. Thank you for tuning in. As always, keep your hands up. Work behind that jab. Catch us on the next episode. Thank you.
I know you feel it. 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 I know you feel it.